Hello and welcome back to another episode of NFL Predictions. I'm back here with my dad and we have our guest,
Kevin.
and welcome back. So Kevin will be joining us for today, and we got a week full of exciting games. And let's just start off with Thursday night. And me and my dad already predicted this game as Thursday night already happened. But Dad, what was your prediction for this game?
For some reason, I went with Arizona, and I guess I didn't get to see the game, but it came down to the very end. But Seattle was the one who got the victory here. I went Arizona 17-14, but you had Seattle. You almost got a correct score, 27-20.
Yeah, no, I did guess 27-20, and another close score that I've gotten, but. Of course, I've only nailed it twice, but Kevin, did you have a prediction for this game?
Yeah, I picked the Seahawks. I didn't put a score out there, but I had a feeling the Seahawks were going to get the win on the road. I felt like Kyler Murray played decent enough. Marvin Harrison didn't have the best game, but he did show flashes of what that top 5 potential really was meant for. He showed flashes of being one of the best receivers in the league, but they just came up short, and Seahawks got the win.
Alright, so we're on to our first game for Sunday. We got 9:30 game. We have the Vikings taking on the Steelers. The Vikings coming off of a big win over the Bengals after J.J. McCarthy was out last week. Carson Wentz was at the helm, but it was mostly the defense and the running game that controlled the Vikings that game. Of course, Wentz played pretty good too, and they dominated the Bengals, winning 48-10 at one point. It was 48-3, and it's just a domination by the Vikings, and the Bengals without Joe Burrow struggling majorly in that game. And then the Steelers coming off a close win after bad luck for the Patriots in that game. The Patriots had multiple chances to pull ahead, but unfortunately they kept fumbling it, and the Steelers wound up taking that one. But yeah, this is going to be an exciting game, and I'll go with my prediction first. I think it's going to be more defense in this game, as I feel like these are two more defensive, well-rounded teams, but we're going to see a little offense as well. I think more towards the end, but I think Vikings are going to give a good fight, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the Steelers who take this one, and it's going to be a 19-13 win for the Steelers.
Wow. I mean, the Vikings have been playing pretty awesome lately. Am I right in saying that it's still Carson Wentz, or is McCarthy back?
Carson Wentz is still, at least as of now, he is.
They're rolling with Carson Wentz, okay.
McCarthy, I think, is still injured, but yeah, Vikings,
One of the nice things about the Vikings is that they're such a well-balanced team. It really doesn't matter who starts, as long as they manage the game correctly. And you're playing a team like Pittsburgh, who is also a team that has a similar situation, but they obviously have Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. This could go either way. This is going to be, I think, a good game. I love 9:30 games on Sundays. It's really fun to be able to watch a game that starts that early. And I think this one's in Ireland, I believe. Is that right?
Dublin, Ireland. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. First one, which is pretty exciting. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna go Minnesota here. I think it's gonna be a close one as well, with a lot of back and forth, but I'm going to go Minnesota in a tight one, 21-18.
All right. Like you said, this game is at 9:30 in the morning. A lot of these players are experiencing this time difference, and we see the Vikings are pretty banged up. I mean, they're out of their starting running back, Aaron Jones, and they're missing their star quarterback. Not star quarterback, but I think he's going to be really good, J.J. McCarthy. But we saw the spark that Carson Wentz gave the Vikings last week, getting a big win, mainly with their defense, but he did enough. Like you were saying, the defense and that system that the Vikings head coach has in place, the Vikings are always going to have their quarterback set up to win. So I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think Aaron Rodgers might throw a pick or two to that Vikings defense as they have been coming up with major turnovers. I'm going to take the Vikings in a close one as well, 21-17, with Carson Wentz throwing the game-winning touchdown to Justin Jefferson in the fourth quarter.
Oh, wow, wild ending there.
That'd be fun. I like that.
Yeah, that'd be an exciting game to see. But now moving on to our 1 o'clock games, the still Jaden Daniel-less Commanders, who were able to pull off a win last week against the Raiders, but they now take on the Falcons, who got dominated after beating the Vikings 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football. They got dominated, shut out by the Panthers 30-0. That just shows you how weird the NFL is, and I wonder what's going to happen in this game. Commanders have a great defense, as you saw last week, but how are they going to play against Penix in this offense? It's similar to Carolina, and how is Mariota going to do against this Falcons defense? Kevin, do you want to start us off with this?
Yeah, I'll start us off. Again, the Commanders are really banged up. I mean, they're out Jaden Daniels, they're out Terry McLaurin, so they're out some key pieces on that offense. Can the defense keep them in the game? I think they can, but I think Michael Penix and the Falcons offense is going to have a better week this week. Their defense has been really good. The Falcons, obviously with their head coach being a defensive-minded head coach, they have been putting up some good defensive performances as of late. Not against Carolina, obviously, but I think this Falcons team is really going to shut out the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders are just too banged up in my opinion. The Falcons are at home. I expect Bijan to come up with a big game. I mean, he already has 400-plus total yards on the season. I mean, he's having a great season so far. I think Penix will have a decent day. And I'm going to take the Falcons 28-14.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting game. Both these teams did play each other last year. I believe it was the Falcons who did wind up taking that game in overtime, but this time, no Jaden Daniels. The Falcons just got shut out by the Panthers, pretty ugly there. So who knows what to expect in this game? But yeah, I think it's gonna be the Falcons. We're gonna see some defense in this game, where it's gonna be a 22-17 victory, I think, for the Falcons.
Wow, okay. So Benny and I both picked the Falcons last week as big winners over the Panthers, and obviously we couldn't have been more wrong. I agree. Washington is banged up, and Jaden Daniels has yet to show us what he showed us in his rookie campaign. And as hopeful I am that is still there. We still haven't seen it, but it doesn't matter because Marcus Mariota is going to be their starter, and he's not a huge downgrade. He's still a capable quarterback that knows how to run the ball. And after I saw Atlanta, basically mess themselves the way they did last week, it's going to be hard for me to pick them. So I'm going contrarian here. I'm going to go Washington on the road. In a game that might not be the most exciting to watch, but I'm going to take the Commanders 24-17.
Alright, so now we got the Chargers, who will take on the New York Giants. This game, the Chargers coming into this game at 3-0. The Giants 0-3, but they've decided to change the quarterback at the helm, starting Jackson Dart over Russell Wilson, and now...
How about that?
And now, we have two veteran QBs just sitting on the bench, wasting their talent. And before we get to this game, I just want to know from both of you, do you think Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, are they going to be traded to another team, and where? Dad, you want to go first?
I don't know. Is there any team that's really that in need of a quarterback?
Yeah, I'll just name a few quickly. Bengals,
Saints,
yeah.
Saints, yeah.
Not a ton, but some teams do need it.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I feel like Jameis Winston, they could have traded him and they haven't. Yeah. So why do it now? I'm not saying they shouldn't, And I don't expect it to be easy for Jackson Dart, because if you look at the schedule, like all their next 5-6 games are all against powerhouse teams. So he's gonna get a big awakening of what it's like to be an NFL quarterback fast. And if he excels, I mean, all the power to him. That's going to be an awesome thing. I don't know. I say they stay put, but who knows? Maybe they will trade. What do you guys think?
Kevin.
I think Jackson Dart is in for a rude awakening. I think he didn't turn it over in the preseason, but there's levels to the preseason and the regular season. I think Jackson Dart's gonna have a rough day. I think he might fumble once. No, I think he'll fumble once, and maybe he throws a pick in the air. So I do think we're gonna see some turnovers in that Giants offense. Do you want me to go through my prediction?
Yeah.
Chargers do have a really good defense this year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would say the Chargers are gonna win this by maybe 2 or 3 possessions. But I think the Giants as a whole, they're 0-3 so far. I think they're just looking for a spark in their team in general. I mean, Russell Wilson, I think he gives them a better shot at winning these games. He didn't we saw what he was capable of in the Cowboys game. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers here. I'm gonna say 35-13 in a blowout. I think the Giants are just desperate. They need some sort of spark.
Yeah, so just going back to the quarterback situation for the Giants. Yeah, I think they need to trade either Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston away. I think what they do, they're going to keep Russ, have him be a mentor to Jackson, and then they'll trade Jameis Winston back to the New Orleans Saints, where he was a few seasons ago, and who knows, maybe the Saints will be able to do something with him as starting QB. But anyway, on to my prediction. The Chargers and the Giants. Yeah, I think Jackson Dart's first start, it's going to be a rude awakening for him, especially with this defense, and I don't think we see nothing from this Giants offense this week besides 2 field goals. I think it's going to be a rough go of it for this Giants team to welcome Jackson Dart into the NFL, and I think it's going to be a 27-6 win for the Chargers.
I agree. I'm all Chargers on this one, too. Obviously, we know I'm not a big Giants fan. And I don't care that they're at home. I'm going to go with Harbaugh and the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who is arguably the best quarterback this year so far. Maybe just short of Josh Allen, but I'm going his receiving core is lights out. And now they got, which is very exciting, with Najee Harris going down, Omarion Hampton, who's one of the most exciting young rookies coming out of the backfield. So I'm excited for the Chargers, and I think New York, it's exciting for them to start up, but they are going to continue to be not that exciting. I agree, maybe a couple of field goals. I'm going to go Chargers 4, Giants 9.
Alright, so now we're on to our next game, a battle of 0-3 teams, as we have a division battle between the Titans and the Texans. This game's going to be interesting, and I could see a lot of defense here, and I think at the end of the day, just because of how bad these offenses are playing right now, it's going to come down to what defense can do better and what offense maybe could play better, get some big plays as well. So it's going to come down, I think, to either of those things, what the better matchup is in this game. But I think it's going to be the Texans who are going to find a way to finally get it done. CJ Stroud isn't what he used to be, but I think we're going to see, I guess, a little bit of a spark from him maybe this week. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be a 16-9 win for the Texans. Boring game, but Texans get their first win. Dad.
I don't know. This is a game, obviously, 2 0-3s. Neither team has shown much so far here. But I think I'm going to lean to Tennessee here in a boring game. All field goals, not exciting. Tennessee 15, Houston 9.
Kevin.
Yeah, the battle of 0-3 teams, a division rival. It's a division game. I really think this is a coin flip in my book. I see 2 outstanding quarterbacks, Cam Ward obviously being the #1 overall pick, yet to get his first win. And then C.J. Stroud, the Offensive Rookie of the Year, just a few years ago. I think we're in for a nail biter in a coin flip game. I think the Texans are going to win 21-24 with Kamari Fairbairn hitting the game-winning field goal. C.J. Stroud just going to get the ball back late in the game, and I think we're going to see some of that rookie experience in Cam Ward. He turns it over late, and the Houston Texans take advantage and kick the game-winning field goal. Texans win, get their first win of the season.
Another nail biter we got. But now let's move on from an 0-3 battle to a 3-0 battle. We got the defending Super Bowl champs taking on the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers losing Evans, but they are getting Godwin back. So how much of a difference that will make? They got Omeka, Buka as well. And this Buccaneers offense is pretty good. But main point I wanted to get about this Eagles-Buccaneers matchup is they took on each other last year. Buccaneers dominated in the playoffs 2 years ago. Buccaneers dominated that game as well. The Buccaneers have had the Eagles' number, so obviously Eagles, I feel like, are doing some extra prep for this game, but the Buccaneers have found a way to beat this Eagles team, and I think especially how good this Buccaneers team looks right now. And this Buccaneers team, like, yes, they've had a rough go of it, like last season with all the injuries, but I think if they were healthy last season, they could have made it far and probably gotten a top seed as well. And I think we're already seeing that a little bit this season with how well this Buccaneers team is playing, and I think we're going to even more see it against this Eagles squad, and they're going to do that what they've been able to do the last few times against the Eagles. Eagles are going to think are going in the game knowing what to do. I think they pull ahead maybe 10-0, but then the Buccaneers take control of this game, and I think the Buccaneers get a huge win, taking this one 31-17. A big win for the Bucs as they go 4-0. Kevin.
Alright. Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield was dealing with some sort of bicep injury. I think he's going to be able to play at his fullest potential, but I can't pick against the Eagles. They're 3-0. They somehow pull away in all these games. I think this game is going to be fairly close towards that fourth quarter. But I think late in that game, I think A.J. Brown is going to catch a big catch, and the Eagles are just going to find a way to win like they always do. I'm going to take the Eagles 34-21, and the Eagles just do what they do best, and that's prove people wrong. And I'm not even an Eagles fan, so I'm taking the Eagles.
It's hard to root against the Eagles in their unstoppable tush push, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how that they convert on that like 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, you both make great points. I'm not an Eagles fan either, and they are a skilled team that always does find a way to win. However, I think the buck stops here with the Bucs, and Tampa Bay gets it done at home. I'm excited about Ibuka. He's an exciting young rookie, and yes, it stinks that they lose Evans, but hopefully Godwin will slide right back into the great player he's always been. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay at home, a nail biter that comes right down to the end, because I would expect nothing less from Baker Mayfield and Jalen Hurts. Tampa Bay, as time expires, 31-30 in a game-winning field goal.
And it does not get blocked this time. Yeah, that would be a good way. That would be good to see that happening.
That would be fun.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But now on to our next game. We got our New England Patriots as they are going to be taking on the Carolina Panthers. Coming into this game, a rough loss against the Steelers. Very winnable game. Panthers coming into this game after a 30-0 win after going 0-2, a 30-0 win against the Falcons. And this game's going to be interesting. How well are the Panthers going to continue to play as well as they did last week, especially on the defensive front? And are the Patriots going to be fumbling again? Well, we will see. But I think it's going to be the Patriots that are going to be able to get it done. And I think it's more of a defensive game that's going to be close, but think the Patriots are going to be able to hold the lead at the end and win this game 23-16. All right, Dad.
I'm going New England here too. Christian Gonzalez comes back, our defensive guy who's yet to play this year, our young, exciting defensive guy. Carolina, I think they surprised everyone with their blowout win of Atlanta last week. But I think New England stops it. They study the tape, they do what they need to do, and Carolina goes back to being the subpar team that everyone believes they are. Not that New England is that awesome, but they're on their way, and this is going to help them. I'm going to go New England 17, Carolina 10.
Those are some good picks. I'm also going to go with the Patriots. I think that we're going to see Carolina struggle in this game, especially against the run. I think a breakout game is due for Travion Henderson. We saw Ramondre Stevenson fumble, I think, twice last week or something like that. He's been turning it over. So I think Travion Henderson has his rookie breakout game, and he takes over that running back RB1 position in the Patriots offense. So I'm going to take the Patriots 27-17, and I think it's going to be a decent game, but I think the Patriots are just going to hold on to that lead all game.
And now we got a battle of 3-0 versus 0-3. We got the Bills taking on the New Orleans Saints, and I don't see much from the Saints side. I think in this game it's gonna be pretty ugly. I'll just say it out front. I got the Bills taking this one 42-9.
Wow, that's a very fair prediction.
Dad.
Okay, so this isn't a game that really have much to say about. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are like the Titans of the NFL, and New Orleans is the exact opposite. I'm gonna, I always do it, Benny, and here it is.
Oh dear.
Buffalo 43, New Orleans 10.
Knew that was coming, the weekly, because Kevin doesn't really know. Dad always loves to one-up me each week. But there we go again, 43-10. Yeah. But, Kevin, what are your thoughts on this game?
I agree. I think, the Bills are 3-0. Josh Allen's looking like the MVP yet again. James Cook is having a great start to this season as well. I think this Saints defense is going to have no answers for this Bills offense. I think it's going to get ugly quick. I think Spencer Rattler, he's been pretty good with not turning the ball over, but on the road in an environment up in Buffalo, New York, I think the Bills are just going to stomp on them. I think it's going to be 38-17, and Josh Allen's going to prove why he's the MVP so far through 4 weeks.
And now, our next game, we have the Cleveland Browns as they are going to take on the Detroit Lions. The Browns coming into this game after a game-winning field goal and blocked field goal on the Packers side of thing to win 13-10 on the top team, in my opinion, in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. What an upset that was. And they are taking on the Lions. The Lions, after a rough loss in week 1 to the Packers, been able to win the last 2 weeks, and this is gonna be an interesting one. But Dad, do you want to start us off on your prediction?
I think that Cleveland got really lucky. Obviously, their defense is elite, and that's pretty much all they have going for them. I don't see much upside with Joe Flacco as their quarterback, but I guess you never know. I do think Detroit struggles, but I do think they find a way to get it done, because ultimately there's no way you're going to be able to stop Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra. And I think they get it done, but it's not an easy win. I'm going to take Detroit in this one, in a close one, 19-13.
I agree. I think this is going to be a defensive game. I think the Browns, they've shown they're undoubtedly the number 1 defense in the league. Myles Garrett, some of their corners are playing their best ball. I mean, the Browns defense, they're very scary for this Lions offense. I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game. I'm going to take the Lions 24-10. I think the Lions are just going to do enough to win, but they're going to struggle with that Browns defense.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we see a lot of points in this one, and I think two great defenses, but I think it's gonna be the Lions who are gonna be able to dominate this game on both sides of the ball, or more so on defense, and they'll be able to run out the clock at the end, winning this one 20-3. Not the most exciting game, but Lions get a win there.
What was 20-3?
20-3, yes.
Wow,
But next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, as they are going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Another game that brings in, I guess, some question marks. Niners are 3-0, but are they really a 3-0 team? The opponents that they've been able to beat aren't the greatest opponents, and they've had Mac Jones. 49ers did lose Nick Bosa last week, and that is a big loss for them as well. And they take on the Jaguars. Jaguars are coming off a win, but they did lose to the Bengals a couple weeks ago. This is an interesting game, and a lot could happen here. How well is the Jaguars' offense and defense going to do? And same thing with Niners. So, Kevin, do you want to start us off?
I'll start us off. I think this is upset of the week material here. I think the Jaguars are gonna upset the 49ers. I think the 49ers again are just injured riddled. I mean, you talk about their starting quarterback Mac Jones is a little banged up. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. I mean, they're on their whole team's injured at this point. I mean, Nick Bosa just went down. I think that 3-0 should really be like a 1-2. They're not 3-0 material. I think the Jags are going to have a big game in the air. I think Brian Thomas gets back to what we saw last year. I think he has a big game. I'm going to take the Jags 28-17 in an upset win.
Yeah, I got a similar score there, and I think, it's going to be a close game as well. Obviously, we don't know officially if Purdy or Jones is going to be starting yet, but it sounds like it's going to be Jones again at this point. But I think it's going to come down to the end. And the 49ers, I know they lost Bosa, but they still got a good defense. And the Jaguars, they've been playing good, but they haven't been playing amazing. And I feel like the Niners could wind up taking this one. And I'm going to take the Niners winning it in a close, ugly game, 24-20.
As much as I would love to see Jacksonville upset San Francisco, I don't think it's realistic on the road. San Francisco's another one of those great, well-built, well-rounded teams. And Mac Jones has proved to be a very capable, substitute for Brock Purdy. And yes, they are riddled with injuries, but there's one guy who isn't injured, and he plays well. San Francisco get a win, and that's CMC. I'm going to go on San Francisco at home, 24-17.
All right, and now we're on to, the last game was the 4 o'clock games, actually, but we're on to the 4 o'clock games, as now we got the Colts 3-0.
3-0 Colts.
Taking on the 2-1 Rams, and this is going to be an interesting one. And I think we see some offense in this game. The Colts, obviously, the streak did end for the Colts last week, and it's not their win streak, it's the punt streak. They finally punted, but that's insane. It took them that long to finally punt. And I saw something somewhere, I believe the only other team to take that long to do a punt or one punt in that amount of time was the 07 Patriots. So what a great start for the Colts. But in this game, I think the Colts are honestly going to play the Rams tough. Yeah, the Colts eventually they're going to come to their downfall, and we'll see that they're not the amazing team that they should be. But I think they're going to continue on the streak for now, playing the Rams tough, and I actually think the Colts are going to get it done, winning another nail-biter with a game-winning field goal to win 34-31, and possibly the game of the week.
Wow. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Dad, you want to go?
Yeah, Indianapolis is an exciting team. I don't think anyone expected them to be 3-0, especially with Daniel Jones. And how much does it think to be a Giants fan?
Yes.
Right now, after losing Kevin, apologies if you're a Giants fan, but after losing Saquon and having him have a career year with the Eagles, and now Daniel Jones is like amazing with the Colts, it's just a bummer for Giants fans.
Yes. It's great to see as a Patriots fan.
Yeah, I am excited for this Colts team, and I do think that, I think the sky's the limits for them, but I think that they're going to have a hard time on the road in LA against the Rams D. I think that they are going to play them tough, but I think it's the Rams who are going to squeak out a victory here, 24-21.
All right, Kev, what do you got?
This was I really thought about this game. Daniel Jones has looked incredibly, superhuman at this point. Yet to turn it over this season. Puka Nakua is having a great start to this season as well. Almost 30 receptions too. Kyron Williams is having a great year so far. I think the Rams are just going to do it just a little bit more in this game. I think the Rams are going to pull it out 30-20, and they get a late touchdown just to not show the real result in the game. I think the score is going to tell a different story, but I think the Colts are going to play them tough. I think it's going to be 30-20, but it's going to be close throughout the game.
All right, so now we head to Las Vegas as the Raiders are going to be taking on the Chicago Bears. Bears coming off a big dominant win over Kevin's Cowboys, and this week, the Raiders got dominated by the Commanders last week, but I feel like the Bears coming into this game with a win. Both teams are 1-2, but I do feel like the Raiders are going to be able to somehow have the Bears number in this. Raiders just always somehow play better than the Bears, even though I think, in my opinion, the Bears are the better team. I think this is going to be a close game, possibly tied right towards the end, and I could see the Raiders getting an upset and a game-winning field goal to win it 23-20 in a very close game.
23-20 Raiders?
Yep, game-winning field goal. Kevin, do you want to go?
This is another tough game for me. Obviously, the Bears got a big win last week. Ben Johnson, the head coach, just last year was the Lions offensive coordinator. He unlocked that offense last week to what I saw. But he was also playing the Cowboys, so it's hard to tell if they're a good or if they're bad. But I'm going to take the Bears 38-31 in a high-scoring game. I think there's going to be no defense in this game. I really don't think there is. I think Geno Smith is going to have a big game towards Brock Bowers and the rookie Trey Tucker, who has 4 touchdowns receiving this year. I think Gentry breaks out. I think it's going to be an offensive game, but I think the Bears are just going to do enough, and they're going to win this game.
I think this is going to be an offensive juggernaut of a game as well. It's a toss-up. I think either team could win this game. I think that neither defense is really going to be able to stop the powerful offenses. And they're both kind of just breaking out. And how about that Trey Tucker guy? That would be something he can continue. But I'm going to go Chicago on the road in this one. For no particular reason, I'm going to go Chicago 28, Vegas 25.
Alright, so next up we have a battle of 1 and 2 teams, and if I would tell someone in the beginning of the season that this is a 1 and 2 record team battle, and I think they'd think I would be crazy, but we got the 1 and 2 Ravens taking on the 1 and 2 Chiefs. The loser of this game will be 1 and 3, 2 great teams in the AFC. They've been both great for years. Dad, do you want to start off with your prediction for this game?
I'd love to start off. Yeah, I agree. No one would have predicted that these two teams were going to come in the game week 4 at 1-2 each. Baltimore has played every game tough. Maybe not the last one. Did they get killed? I forget.
Kind of. They
Yeah,
played it
right.
close till the end, and then the Lions pulled away at the end.
KC, on the other hand, I'm not that excited about them. I gotta say, they're not the KC I've come to know over the last few years. Not that I'm upset about that, but I am thinking Baltimore goes on the road. They want the win. KC has proven that they know how to lose, that they can lose, and I think they're going to continue to lose. And I think that there's too many cooks in the kitchen in Kansas City, and I think Baltimore and Lamar Jackson find a way to stop Kansas City, and I see Derrick Henry running all over him. I know KC has a good D, but Derrick Henry is a beast, and I am going Baltimore. I don't know if this is an upset, but I'm going Baltimore with the upset on the road, and an exciting one. 31-27 victory in the city.
Wow, well, I don't see that many points, but yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. Chiefs must win for both these teams, and I honestly think the Chiefs are going to continue to play like how they have the first 2 weeks, or I guess all season long. Of course, the Giants played worse, but I don't think we see the Chiefs don't do amazing, and the Ravens are going to be able, I think, to get the ball down the field. And I think at the end of the day, the Ravens are going to get a big win, winning 27-17, and to pull ahead and take control of this game. And once they pull ahead, up by 10, I think they'll be able to hold on and take that one. But it's going to be an exciting game, Kevin.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great game. How about Lamar Jackson? If he had started the year off 3-0, he would be in the MVP conversation, or if not, the leading favorite, because he has 9 passing touchdowns, leads the NFL so far in passing touchdowns, is yet to turn it over. I mean, damn, they played everyone close. It just sucks that they haven't really put the wins together, because if not, Lamar would be the MVP favorite right now. But the Chiefs have struggled to score. We saw that with the Eagles game, we saw that in the Chargers game, and we saw it last week against the Giants on Sunday Night Football. I think the Chiefs are going to continue to struggle scoring the football. I think the Ravens are going to have a big game through the air. Lamar Jackson, 9 passing touchdowns, like I said. I think Derrick Henry, he has been fumbling in these key moments, but I think he'll have a decent game. But it's really, for me, Lamar Jackson using his arm in this one. I think Zay Flowers is going to have a decent game, and Mark Andrews is going to have a decent game. I think they might be getting Isaiah Likely back. I'm not sure about that. But when he was back, we saw what he did to the Chiefs' offense just a few years ago, just almost winning that game, but if his toe was in the end zone, if anyone remembers that. So I think the Ravens are going to win 31-20, and Lamar Jackson doing what he does best.
But now we are on to an 8 o'clock game, Sunday Night Football, as we have the Green Bay Packers taking on Kevin's Cowboys. And just a few weeks before a week before the regular season, this game has some significance because of it. Micah Parsons was traded, we'll just say basically for like a side of fries, to the Packers from the Cowboys, and they should have gotten more for him, and this trade has affected both teams already this season, I could see for sure. And now the Cowboys, I'm not fully aware what's the latest for the situation of CeeDee Lamb, but it's going to be a rough game for the Cowboys either way. And Kevin, do you want to start us off for this game?
Oh yeah, I'll start us off because I have a lot to say. I'm obviously educated on the Cowboys. I'll just start out by saying we're pretty banged up. CeeDee's going to be out this game. I know that our starting center is out and our starting right guard is out. So we're missing some pieces on the offensive line, and this happens to be that we're going against Micah Parsons, who's going to want a revenge game in this game. So I think we're just not going to – we're going to put up a fight, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game on the ground. And we're getting Deron Bland back. We saw when he was back in week 1, we played the Eagles pretty decent in the air, but throughout the last few weeks we have been getting torched through the air. So it's quite a big question mark for me with this team. But I'm going to take the Packers 28-24. I think it's going to be close. I think people are counting out Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak has been playing incredible. I mean, his stats don't tell it, but he's been playing pretty decent this season. I think the Cowboys stay in the game, but I don't think we're winning it.
Yeah, so I got a little bit more of domination for the Packers. Packers, yes, they did lose last week to the Browns, but I just think that was a fluke, and the Packers will be back, and and Micah Parsons coming out with revenge. It's going to be a domination by the Packers. Not as many points as you may think, but I think Packers easily take control of this game to win it 31-10.
As much as I would like to see Dallas give the Packers a game, I think Kevin's right. I think they're too banged up, and I just see Green Bay. You know, they're just look really great, and like you said, Parsons is going to want his revenge. I think he's going to get it, and I do think I agree. Dak has been like one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. His stats don't show it, but he's playing great football. So I do think he finds a way to keep him in there. But I think ultimately Green Bay is just going to be too tough of an opponent for Dallas to get a victory here. I'm going to go Green Bay 24, Dallas 17.
So next up we have Monday Night Football, a doubleheader actually. The games will be on basically at the same time, but the first game that starts is the Jets and the Dolphins at 7:15. A battle of two 0-3 teams. The Jets come into this game after a rough loss, and with the Dolphins, they come into this game it was a loss, but they played the Bills tough for most of that game, and I'll get to the Jets game in a second. But yeah, the Dolphins played the Bills tough till the end, where Tua threw that interception right to the Bills defender. But if the Dolphins do play like they played for most of last week's game, I think they should be able to easily get this win. However, the Jets, they played the Buccaneers tough, and they almost won that game. They got the blocked field goal, took it back for the touchdown, but somehow the Bucs were able to still win that game because they are the Jets. And yeah, both two teams that are hungry, I think, for a win, but I think it's going to be the Dolphins. A lot of people probably disagree with me because the Dolphins are like the team that's like being made fun of the most this year as well. But like the Dolphins, they did play all right last week, and yes, Tua is not the future in Miami, it's looking like, but I think he's good enough to beat the Jets, and who knows, maybe Zach Wilson will wind up playing and beating the Jets. That would be funny. But anyway, yeah, I got my prediction, of course, going. Tua's playing, but getting a little off track here. But back on track, I think it's going to be the Dolphins who do take this one. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be probably not the most excitingest game. I'm going to say 26-13 Dolphins. Kevin.
I think people are counting out the Jets. I think people don't understand how good Justin Fields played in his Jets debut in Week 1 against the Steelers. They lost that game 32-34. The Jets could not be stopped on offense. And I think with the Jets losing to the Bills the following week and then playing the Buccaneers close, or 3-0, they've lost to two quality teams by 2 points throughout the last 3 weeks. So the Jets have been playing teams close, and with their quarterback who could obviously use his legs and can throw it pretty well, Garrett Wilson is going to have a good game. Breece Hall, I'm taking the Jets. I think the Dolphins are in for some bad trouble for the season as a whole. I think with the Jets winning this game, I think their head coach might get fired. You're talking about an 0-4 start, and losing to the Jets, I think I think that Miami Dolphins season might come to an end in Week 4. I'm taking the Jets 27-24.
I agree. I don't think Miami is has much hope. They look pretty pitiful, and it's a shame. It's actually kind of fun being a Pats fan this year and having a 1-2 record and being in second place.
Yeah.
I think both the Dolphins and the Jets. But I think that the Jets aren't that exciting either. But Justin Fields is exciting, and I do think that the Jets are going to go down to Miami and take care of the Dolphins pretty easily, without much fanfare. Breece Hall running wild, with a Jets victory 21-10.
All right, so now on to our final Monday game and final NFL game for this video. But we got the Bengals and the Broncos, the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Joe Burrow-less says a lot how this game's going to go. They've been struggling without Joe Burrow. Jake Browning looked terrible in the last game.
Hey, good.
They probably need to find a new quarterback. Hopefully Winston or Wilson maybe, but in this game I think that's going to continue to show. The Broncos are not going to go as crazy on the Bengals as the Vikings did, but I don't think the Bengals are going to do much, and I think it's going to be a 27-9 win for the Broncos. And I just got to say, I'm sorry to everyone who drafted Jamar Chase first overall this year in fantasy. It's not looking so good for you this year. Alright, Dad, you want to go?
Me?
Yep.
Jamar Chase is still Jamar Chase. And yes, I agree, without Burrow, it doesn't look very promising for the Bengals. But I agree, man. Could you imagine Jameis Winston in Cincinnati throwing the ball to Higgins and Chase?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be, yes.
I would enjoy that. Going back to your original question, that would be a trade I'd like to see. However, it's not happening for this weekend, and I think Denver is going to take care of Cincinnati, no problem, especially at home. Cincinnati has all kinds of problems, and they need to, really do some self research and figure out what's going on and find a new solution. But I'm going to go Denver at home, 24, Cincinnati 17.
All right, and now Kevin, you want to go?
Oh yeah. I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Monday night, I think after an exciting Jets offense from the game earlier, I think we're going to get a little bit of a lower-scoring game here. I think the Broncos obviously have one of the best defenses in the league. Bo Nix hasn't been playing like he did in his rookie campaign. And I think the Broncos are going to get it done 20-10 and just a low-scoring, boring game. I think the quarterback for the Jake Browning, I think he's going to struggle, obviously, with the Broncos secondary being one of the best, if not the best in the league. So, yeah, give me the Broncos 20-10.
All right.
All right, and now that will do it for the NFL, but we're now on. Let's do our low in football predictions for the game tomorrow as they play Lycoming. I think that's how you pronounce it. Not fully sure, but Lycoming and
Lycoming. I've heard of that.
Lycoming. Okay, yeah. So Kevin, do you think they're going to be able to win this week?
Yeah, I think they're going to get it done. I think they should realistically be 2-0. We saw week 1, obviously that rain game. It sucked, but they tied in that game. And then the week following that, they blew the other team out, and they couldn't even score. So I think Rowan's going to get it done. I'm not too sure on the score. I'm going to say maybe 24-13. I'm going to say Rowan gets it done on the road.
Yeah, so I haven't heard much about the Lycoming team, but what I have heard, they are a little better than the team they played last week. But I do think it's going to be, well, who's going to be able to get it done? And think they are going to be able to dominate. Not as much as they did in the last game, but they're going to put up a good amount of points, and I think they're going to take this one 31-20.
I'm going to defer to you guys, but obviously I'm going to root for Rowan. And I'm going to say Rowan gets the win here 30-20.
All right, so now finally for football, we got back to Somers. They take on Mahopac this week, and Somers coming off finally getting their first win just last week, being able to get it done against a struggling Yorktown team that's 0-3 in the season. But Somers, after a rough first 2 weeks, able to get a big win, a big statement win that puts them back in the conversation. But they take on Mahopac, also a battle of the DiMatteo coaches. And this is going to be interesting when Mahopac, a good team again this season, as they usually are. And I think it's going to come down to if they're going to be able to get, like, their receivers are a little weak with putting Palazzolo back as the running back this week. And I think if they can get him out in the field more as a receiver, that is going to help. But I do think, especially looking at this Mahopac's defense, like, yes, they're good. They're good on offense, but like their defense has allowed a lot of some teams score a lot of points on them, but their offense has outscored those teams for most of the games, as they're 2-1 on the season. And I do think we're gonna see some points, but at the end it's gonna be Somers who's gonna be able to prevail 27-20. And yeah, so I know you guys don't know much, but you guys want to take a guess on the scores?
I'm going to just say go Somers, and I think they get it done. I don't know the score.
Okay.
Not too educated on if they're like a running team, a passing team, but I'm going to just say the Somers get it done.
I agree. I'm on board with Somers. Defending champs, keep it going. Go Somers.
I'll just put it in there.
17-10.
17-10. I'll just put it in there. Defending 3-time champs.
Yeah.
But,
4 out of 5, right?
3 out of 4. Yeah.
3 out of 4 was it? Okay.
Yeah. No, the last 3 they won. They lost in 21. But yeah, they made
4
it.
out of 4? Wasn't it 4 of the last 5?
No, it's 3 out of the last 4, but they made it 4 years ago as well to the championship. And hopefully they'll make it back this year. But Wahai's going to be a tough opponent. But finally, let's head to our NASCAR predictions. And Dad, do you want to go first?
Allmendinger all the way.
Allmendinger. Okay, so we got this week. I think we've seen it's been a good road ahead for Joe Gibbs Racing. Blaney getting the win last week. I think we're gonna finally see a win from Hendrick with William Byron getting it done. But yeah, and yeah, but Kevin, you don't know much about NASCAR,
so I'll leave it up to you guys. You guys can do your
Yeah.
predictions because I have no clue.
Yeah, but that's gonna do it for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Let's move over here.
All right, take it easy.
Alright, so, hey Charles, my name is Ben Silk, and as a big sports and NBA fan, I want to know who you think's going to win the NBA championship this year, and why? Celtics.
You know, I think this is going to be a fascinating NBA season. I got zero idea who's going to win the East. Zero. I mean, obviously, I think the Celtics are cooked without Tatum and Porzingis and Drew Holiday. The Pacers are cooked without Miles Turner and Halliburton. The Knicks and the Cavs are going to be favored. But let me say this, and it's a big damn if. If the Sixers could get healthy. If the Sixers could get healthy, they could win the East. As far as the West, OKC is a team to beat. But the Rockets, with the addition of Kevin Durant, they're going to be tough, man. The Nuggets got the best player in the world in the Joker. They went out and got him some help finally. So, but I would still pick OKC. So, man, it's going to be fascinating watching the basketball this year.